For generations, we were told one simple thing: be yourself. But the internet twisted that advice into something very different: be your brand. And once identity becomes a brand, once you become the product, everything changes. Suddenly, you are not just living your life, you are packaging it, explaining it, optimizing it, presenting it. Today, we are going to break down how self branding rewired human behavior, not in theory, but in the small, everyday ways that shape how you think, act, and make choices. Let's go force by force. Force 1: the attention economy as currency. Attention used to be social, now it's economic. Followers bring opportunities. Visibility becomes leverage. Being known, even slightly, can open doors to jobs, sponsorship, collaborations, or clients. So, visibility is no longer just a feeling, it's a currency. And once attention becomes a currency, people treat themselves like assets that must be managed. Everyday impact. Before making a choice, people now often ask, how will this look? Does this fit my brand? Is this shareable? Will this increase or decrease visibility? Even hobbies aren't just hobbies anymore. They are monetizable brand extensions. Life choices framed through content. Should I travel here? It might look good for my page. Monetized leisure activities. People thinking of themselves as brands with strategies. The self becomes a portfolio to grow. Force 2: platform architecture. The design of platforms doesn't just host your identity, it shapes it. Profiles, grids, feeds, follower counts, likes, analytics. These aren't neutral tools. They are behavioral training system. They teach you what good identity looks like. Consistent aesthetic, regular posting, high engagement, a recognizable niche. The interface turns you into a metric. Everyday impact. People adopt behaviors that platforms reward: posting at the right time, using the right hooks, curating an easily recognizable hook, sharing life through a brand lens. Even authenticity becomes rehearsed because platforms reward polished relatability, visible signs, staged candid moments, scripted vulnerability, extreme micro niches such as minimalist mom with a productivity system, people speaking in platform friendly formats. When the architecture demands aesthetic consistency, people bend their lives to match it. Force 3: economic precarity. Job markets are unstable. Salaries do not stretch. Industries shift fast. So, more and more people see self branding as a hedge, a backup plan. If an employer disappears, an audience might become income. If a career collapses, a personal brand can be spun into new opportunities. This turns the public self into a kind of insurance policy. Everyday impact. People start cultivating public personas even before they need them. A designer posting tips, a therapist making reels, an engineer building a thought leadership profile. These aren't hobbies, they are safety nets being built in real time. Visible signs, side hustles framed as empowerment, multiple income streams culture, people teaching it skills they learned only weeks ago, lifestyle based entrepreneurship. Self branding becomes less about expression and more about survival. When you are surrounded by curated identities, you begin comparing every part of your life to someone else's highlight reel. That comparison doesn't stay on screen, it changes behavior. You start self monitoring more. Do I sound out of touch? Does this photo make me look boring? Do I need to post more to stay relevant? The constant exposure to polished lives creates internal pressure to match that polish. And because everyone is watching everyone, the performance never ends. Everyday impact. People edit language to sound morally correct. They crop photos to remove anything that looks wrong. They post vulnerability that is edited enough to be safe. Visible signs, performative help seeking, staged messy authenticity, vulnerability with perfect lighting, identity as an ongoing PR project. Comparison becomes a loop, and the loop becomes surveillance of others and of yourself. Force 5. Collapse of private life. Platforms blurred the line between private and public so deeply that the boundary barely exists anymore. A meal becomes content, a bedroom becomes a set, a relationship becomes a storyline. A moment of rest becomes a time lapse about self care. The private world shrinks because everything becomes potentially shareable. Everyday impact. People design their homes, routines, and even relationships for the camera. Or they avoid private rituals entirely because they don't fit the brand. Rest becomes difficult because rest is unproductive. Intimacy becomes rare because intimacy can't always be monetized. Visible signs, home tours as branding, family moments presented like campaigns, couples posting curated love narratives, paid partnerships inside domestic spaces. When privacy collapses, life becomes a performance without breaks. So, what's the takeaway? Self branding doesn't just add a new task to your life, it rewires how you think. It turns identity into a product. It turns choices into marketing decisions. It turns private life into potential content. The result is simple. People become more self conscious, more polished, more strategic, and less able to simply exist without thinking about how they appear. Self branding changes behavior from the inside out, not because anyone forces it, but because the structure of the digital world rewards it. Hi, I'm Akanksha, and this is The Storyteller's Lens. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.